Holy cow, kids, I think it just took me an hour to get ready for this. So much to show you, so much to talk about. Hello, my dear friends. This is Jan of Jan Hicks Creates, and I am coming back a little bit earlier than the 2 weeks because cat fur. Because why not? I have lots to share with you. Yeah. The main reason I'm coming back a little earlier is because I want to make sure I get here before my 15% off sale ends this Friday. More on that later. Hello to those of you, and welcome back, who have been with me for a while. Hello to the new subscribers. I hope you enjoy your time here and that you like and subscribe my videos and my channel. I appreciate all of you being here and spending your time with me. I know there's a lot of us out there that you could be spending time with. So anytime you can spend with me, I appreciate. I promise you that you will be informed. You will see some pretty stitching, and that we'll share some laughs. Usually there's some laughter going on here. I'm usually laughing at myself, but that's okay. So I want to apologize first for not having any pretty travel pictures at the beginning. Mike and I have been total homebodies since we got back from Arizona, which is perfectly okay. I did take some little videos of little vignettes I have around the house, so I hope you enjoyed that. We probably won't be traveling anywhere until the spring thaw. I asked my stylist, I got my hair cut this week. She's been here for 4 years. She moved here from Denver, and I said, so tell me, when does spring get here? And totally deadpan, she said, July. Makes me want to cry. So Wendy, if you're watching, tell me when spring actually does get here. I've been starting to see friends of mine posting pictures of daffodils coming up. This is over like in Maryland, in Germany, in England, daffodils and crocuses starting to bloom. For those of you that have been with me for a while, you know that I adore the spring flowers. Spring is my favorite season. My stylist said the only thing that happens here in the spring is wind. I don't even know if I have any spring bulbs planted in the yard here because, you know, we saw the house in September. So, yeah, have no idea. It will be a nice surprise to see whatever spring might bring to us. It was snowing again this morning. This is the first snow we've had in, I think, since... well, we've had some light dustings on and off over the past month, but today was just a light dusting too. So, yeah. Let's see. A little bit of news out there in the cross-stitch world news. Well, first, this isn't in the cross-stitch world. This is in my world. The Knit-A-Thon that I took part in this past Saturday. It was Saturday, 12 hours of knitting for a lot of people, stitching and knitting for me, mostly stitching. Let's see. We had more than 600 knitters raise, are you ready for this number? $271,761 to fight hunger and food insecurity in the U.S. That equates to, and are you ready for this number? That equates to 2,717,610 meals to the hungry. The money raised is being split equally between World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, Meals on Wheels, and Feeding America. Now, there were programs throughout the day via Zoom, some like ergonomic stretching exercises for those of us, you know, knitting and crafting all day, but there was also throughout the day, with breaks in between, but throughout the day, presentations by the different charities that this money is going towards. I did not get a chance to see them all. The one that stood out for me that just brought me to tears was World Central Kitchen. Now, for those of you that may know the name of the chef, and I totally forget his last name, Andres, I forget his name, he's Hispanic. He is the chef that founded World Central Kitchen. My little space heater just came home on. I hope it's not too loud. He is the chef that founded World Central Kitchen, and the presentation, it wasn't done by him, it was done by somebody in outreach, in their outreach program. But you know, you hear about these programs and you have a general idea of what they do, but to see the video and to hear the in words and in pictures, the impact. So World Central Kitchen is focused on not only helping out in places that have been hit by natural disasters, but also that places that have been hit by political crises, refugee type of situations. And their goal is to provide wholesome food, real food, to people in need, to help them continue to do, whether it's to clean up a community after a flood, or deal with whatever stressors are happening in their lives. Real food will do that. They team up with local farms, they work with the Imperfect Foods people to use that food, and they work with local chefs who know the local sources for food to make real food. And the chefs also understand what it means to cook food at scale. So all of these things come together through World Central Kitchen to feed those in need. And it's like I said, I'm getting all choked up now just thinking about it. It is mind-boggling. So I was thrilled to be able to have a part of that. So many thanks to those of you who did donate. My little corner, I think I donated close to 500. So that means the world to me to know that you were with me in this important endeavor. Back to a little bit of news in the cross-stitch world. Leslie LaFleur of Under the Sea Fabrics. This is so exciting. She is moving her dyeing production of fabric into a dye studio. She's renting a space that she's not only going to be able to dye hopefully more consistently, and I think she's hoping to increase what she's able to dye, but also she's hoping to have part of the space dedicated to a little bit of a store, as well as a place where the local community can come and sit and stitch. Leslie is in San Antonio. I was not able to get together with anybody in San Antonio because the pandemic did hit us so hard there while we were there. But I think this is very exciting news for San Antonio, especially since Stitches from the Heart has closed, and I wish Leslie nothing but the best in her endeavors there. Okay, stitching. I have some finishes to show you. I have been working, not diligently, I wouldn't say, but I'm trying to be more consistent on getting my stack of things finished. Everything's from smalls to things that I have to take away to be finished. I did take 4 items to Michael's. These are things that I want them to be nicely finished, but I don't necessarily need to take them to the top dollar frame store to be finished, if that makes sense. They're not heirloom pieces necessarily. I don't remember what I took. How sad is that? Anyways, I hope to have them back. Did you laugh? I told you there might be some laughs. I hope to have them back. I think they said by the 19th they should be done. So in the next video, I will show you those. I'm also getting some framing done here from frames that I've bought either through thrift stores or Amazon or Michael's, etc., etc. So first up is my This Is Home piece. This is a free design that I did to kind of celebrate the holiday gift extravaganza. You know that my theme was kind of, for this year, was kind of home, since we are in a new home. So I designed this. You can find this on my blog at madforyarn.com. The link is below. So it is available there as a free download. So I got this frame. This is stitched on a 32 count, I believe it's ice blue Murano, and this is using 2 of Vicki Clayton's silks. I've seen a lot of people stitching this on Instagram for the cross stitch camp challenge for a single color stitch. I had planned on doing this as a single color, but I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough of the dark blue, so I brought in the lighter blue, and I absolutely love having those two motifs in the lighter blue to set off the dark blue. So anyways, that is done. This is upstairs in the kitchen dining room area. Some older pieces got framed. This is the punch needle piece that I did. This is Michelle Palmer's Ranunculus Bouquet. Michelle Palmer is an artist who has her designs also in punch needle, rug hooking, and some cross stitch. So this frame is a barnwood frame. The company is called Barnwood Frames, and I got this on Amazon. I am thrilled to have this finished. It looks so nice and springy upstairs on my shelves. This is one of the things you saw in the little vignette at the beginning. And you also saw this one. So this is Kaleidoscope by Fat Quarter Shop, Lori Holt. This is stitched on 36 count. I believe it's sterling. It's either sterling or pewter by Picture This Plus. And in my choice of over-dyed flosses that are close to what the called for is. So this is a shadow box that I got at Michael's that I thought it looked cool in. One thing that I'm not sure it's done, because I don't like the way the cording around the outside meets here, but I have to find something to cover it up with, some kind of flower or something that will work. So those I'm thrilled to have finished and on display upstairs, making things look a little bit more home-like, a little bit more springy. Spring is coming. And yeah, like I said, 4 other ones coming from Michael's, and then I hope to get to the big people frame store, the fancy frame store soon, to get some of my pieces there framed. Specifically, this is one of them, as is Hoity Toity. This is Sewing Box Sampler 2. So this is the reproduction sampler version of it that I did with a lot of help from my friend Ann Statura. Ann is the one who owns this. She bought one of the sewing box samplers and I bought the other one. So I had a lot of help from her to get this charted, have the colors reflect correctly. So that is done. And I also charted a baby sampler version, because when Anne first saw this, she said, that would be really cool to work out a way to make that a baby sampler. And I agreed with her totally. So I did rework the bottom part to fit in the information about a baby. Both of these charts are in the Sewing Box Sampler 2. They're both 2 different charts, both in the same PDF. So the information that I put there is for my younger son. The borders on the sides, and I do have a note about this in the PDF, the borders on the sides I did have to work a little bit differently. They met differently on the bottom with that extra length being in there. So just be aware of that if you get this and you're looking at the chart, that there is a difference between the 2 samplers in that way. This is available on my Etsy store as a PDF, at Fat Quarter Shop as a PDF, at Everything Cross Stitch as a paper pattern. Again, both of those charts are in the paper pattern as well. And it has been set into the Silk People. It is not on there yet. They did just send out a note that my In My Heart design is now available on the Silk app. That is done, and I am thrilled with it, and I will get that framed soon. I've also started a couple other designs, kind of more spring-like. This one isn't necessarily spring-like, but this is a sampler. This is my next NPI silk design that Fat Quarter Shop will be providing the silk pack for. So just got to start on that. Have a lot to go on this one. So that is that. This is, like I said, NPI silk, 1 strand over 2 linen threads on Mayflower linen by Fat Quarter Shop. And the sewing box sampler is also done on Mayflower. The other one I charted and started is called, the sampler that I started is called What is a Home? This is a spring design, and this is called Live Like It's Spring, and the words Live Like It's Spring will be on the design. So I am thrilled to be doing this one. Like I said, it is a spring design. I had charted it in overdyed flosses. I am stitching this on 40 count lichen by, I think this is Needle and Flax, or it may be Tabby Cat. This is one of the linens that I got at the attic, and it's one of those. I don't remember off the top of my head, and I don't have the paper here. I charted this in overdyed, and then look what came in the mail. So these flosses are Cottage Garden threads from Australia. I had heard Karen and Brendan Kirk of Fox and Rabbit Designs discuss them, and they had mentioned in a video a month or so ago that Cottage Garden Threads was looking to expand into the US more. They said that they were interested in talking to designers here to see if we'd be interested in using their threads. I got in touch with Katie at Cottage Garden Threads. We had a Zoom get together, a Zoom chat to get to know each other. She wanted to know a little bit about, you know, of course, who I am as a designer before she just sends me a bunch of threads, right? And so I gave her some ideas that I had for her threads, and she let me pick out which ones I wanted and sent me this wonderful box of threads, all kinds of different colors. I concentrated on ones that weren't as variegated, but also some that are, because I have some ideas for those that I can't wait to share. But I did decide with this one, because they came in time basically, to go ahead and switch out some of the overdyed flosses that I had already chosen for some of the Cottage Garden thread flosses. And I'm trying to pull them out here because I didn't have my act together to pull them out first and show you. So the Fat Quarter Shop is carrying Cottage Garden thread. So this is a mixture of overdyeds and Cottage Garden threads. So the Cottage Garden threads that I'm using in this are Bridal Veil, just a very soft blush pink, French Lavender, this one is gorgeous, Viola, however you would say that flower, Garden Path, Cloudy Day, Oregano, I love the shades of green in this, and Lettuce Leaf, so a nice soft springy green. So I will tell you up front that these threads are more expensive than the other overdyed flosses. I think Fat Quarter Shop has them priced at $6.48, I want to say, so they are more expensive, but these are bigger skeins. This is so it's a 10-meter length, so that's like 10 yards, 10.1 yard, 10.2 yards. So you're getting a couple more yards than you would in your DMC or in your over-dyed flosses. And yes, I am petting the floss. And but they also have to make money off of the shipping from Australia over here, right? So you're wondering, are they worth it? I think they are. They're gorgeous colors, and it's fun to discover other over-dyed flosses. Beautiful floss. So the Garden Path, I think that is the only one of the Cottage Garden ones I've used so far is the Garden Path, and that is what is in the basket on top of the house, as well as the stone wall along the house. So I am working diligently on that one. The fabric is kind of a pale green, so kind of a springy pale green, I think. So yeah, look for that, hopefully in the not too distant future, although I have a lot of stitching to still do on that. All right, and I think that is everything that I have from the world of Jan Hicks Creates. So next is all my other stitching. First, we're going to start with the 56 count. So if you remember, I started the fox from the Into the Woods series by Cottage Garden Samplings. Started this on Ballet Slipper 56 count by Fox and Rabbit. And so I have those two trees are what I had done before. And this is, I'm just working on this on Friday. So I started the little kind of cabin in the woods back there. Did you see that the next cabin, or the next Into the Woods came out? It's a raccoon. Oh, it is so cute. I'm loving this series. So I am using Vicki Clayton's silks on these. And I know we had a big discussion last time about what was the right weight to use on the 56 count. I am not loving the silks. They are still just a little thick, and it makes it a challenge, quite frankly, to see the Holts. I can stitch with them, but I've made several errors in going over 3, which frustrated me. So yes, took them out. So I did last week, you guys, several of you mentioned using, let me get out the Rose and the Giant Pear. Several of you mentioned last week using 30 weight sulky. I happen to have, here's my Rose and a Giant Pear. I did get a little bit. I was going to say the Fox one I only do on Friday nights, so I got that much done just in a couple hours that I had to stitch on that Friday night. Got a little bit more done on the pear. This is 56 count Creme Brulee, and this is using the Flosstube silks that the Attic has recommended, had put together. So several of you had mentioned that you liked using the 30 weight sulky. I happen to have some 30 weight sulky here, just a black. So I tried that over here, right there. I still found that a little bit too bulky for my liking. I am looking for something that is comparable to the Flosstube. I haven't used the 100.3 because they kitted up the Rose and the Giant Pear and Flosstube. But I did get some other cotton threads from Fat Quarter Shop. I got Aurifil's 50 weight and 80 weight. Make sure. So this is the 50 weight and this is the 80 weight. Just to compare, because at this point it's all about trying things out and seeing what I think will work. I found Okay, so the red is the 50 weight and the blue is the 80 weight. I found the 80 weight to be too thin. I didn't like how it's stitched. I thought the 50 weight was just right. I am Goldilocks, and 50 weight is just right. Now, the other thing that's interesting about the 50 weight is that, and I think I'm remembering, I didn't note it down, there's 270 colors for the Aurifil floss, or Aurifil cotton threads, and these are mostly used in quilting, I think machine embroidery, quilt applique. The 100.3 Soie d'Alger is the brand. The 100.3, and I'm not sure about the Soie Surfine. I compared it to the 100.3. There are 290 colors of that. So it's a fairly close amount of colors that are available for me to use. Fat Quarter Shop does carry the 50 weight. I don't know that they carry all of the colors in this size spool. They have a lot of them in spools that are 1,600 yards, bigger cones that are like 2,200 yards or more. I don't remember. They have a lot of these in sets for the different quilts that they kind of go with, right? Boxed sets. And then they also have a thread club for this. And I think you get four spools, $14.98, $19.98 a month, something like that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this 50 weight thread club. If any of you are out there that belong to that, let me know kind of, I guess, where they are. If there's 290 colors, have they been doing it for a while? Is it going to continue? I don't know. I could write to Kimberly and find out. But anyways, that's what I have found. I think 50 weight Aurifil, and I assume other 50 weights as well. I'm just happen to focus on Aurifil because I know Fat Quarter Shop carries it, is kind of a sweet spot for the 56 count. So that is what I will probably be using going forward when I want to stitch on 56 count, but I don't want to use silk. I know, gasp, you don't want to use silk? Yes, there are some things that I don't want to use silk for. Part of me would like to start over on the fox. Part of me doesn't, because I really like how these colors are looking, and I haven't explored the color range yet for Aurifil 50 weight to know that they have the colors that I need. But I tell you what, it was slow going. Of course, it didn't help that it was in the evening and my eyes were tired, but it was slow going and I was getting a little frustrated with the Vicki Clayton silks on this. So, undecided. I might look and see what color offerings I can find at Fat Quarter Shop, because like I said, they don't carry, I don't think they carry all of the colors in this size spool. So I would have to, I'll have to investigate some more. Okay, what other stitching? English, let's see, let's get the real name of this. Oh, I don't have the pattern in here. I just have this, and it doesn't have the name on it. Liz Turner Deals, the designer. 16th century flower garden, herb garden, knot garden, something like that. This was my Sunday piece, my Sunday fun piece. My throat's getting a little bit, I must be talking too loudly. I was working on this triangle over here. So I got the top half of that triangle done, including the back stitching. So just have to finish up the bottom half, which I will probably work on this Saturday and get that done. I do have to say that the directions for the specialty stitches in this pattern leave a bit to be desired. So this center of the triangle is a, oh, I don't remember what it's called now, crossed some kind of crossed stitch. And you do long stitches, both lengthwise and then, let me see if so you do the long stitches lengthwise, you do long stitches, cross those lengthwise, and then you go in, that darker color is little crosses over top. The instructions are not equal to what I have here on the fabric. It's not the same shape, it's not the same size. So I had to kind of start and stop several times before I figured out what would work. The other thing that I had forgotten, but I realized when I thought about working down here, so this is called a laced herringbone underneath the straight border here, and it goes all around the inside. It's the inside border all around the piece. The directions are given for what I have here, the laced herringbone, but apparently that's the herringbone part and the laced part is something different. You go in and through this somehow with a lighter colored thread, but that is not shown in the directions in the specialty stitch area. So I've kind of just like decided it's fine the way it is, but it's kind of annoying. Maybe back in the 90s, people didn't need to have each step laid out for them. And I could, actually, I think I did do a search on laced herringbone back when I was doing that, and I don't think I found anything that was satisfactory. But anyways, I will probably just do it as is. But yeah, so that triangle will get done, and it is basically full coverage, hopefully on Saturday. It is all DMC, and this is might be a 28 count bleached linen. I'm not sure what the name is. I did get started on the next part of Do Re Mi by Silver Creek Samplers. Oh, speaking of Silver Creek Samplers. Oh. So, Nashville, right? The Nashville sneak peeks that are coming out. First of all, setting aside Silver Creek Samplers for a second, Theresa Kogut, she has hit it out of the park. I haven't seen a whole lot that I absolutely have to have this year. Of course, there's a whole lot of people that haven't showed their new releases yet. But Theresa Kogut has a new sampler. Something about family, can't remember the name, blues and browns. Stunning, stunning. And several of her booklets are also just amazing. But Silver Creek Samplers, you may have seen this, has one that says, "Will you, E-W-E, will you be my neighbor?" And there's a big sheep with a sweater on. Now, you may remember, you may know, I am from Pittsburgh, and that is where Mr. Rogers was located. That's where he lived. His show first showed on the PBS station there, WQED. I grew up with Mr. Rogers, not living right down the road, but he was in Pittsburgh. I was in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. So yeah, and of course it's a sheep. Will you be my neighbor? As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's a must-have. She has several other cute ones as well, but that one stood out. Anyways, as I was saying, I started Fa. Silver Creek Samplers, Do Re Mi series, done in my colorway. It's actually not. Done in the rainbow conversion that somebody else did, and I am doing as well. And it is posted on my color conversion page on my blog. So, there is the start of Fa. It is being stitched in Pine by Gentle Arts. And one thing I am going to do today is cut off all this extra fabric. So this is the last piece on this row. So, I'll cut it off over here. And then I'll be dropping down to the second row. So the second row goes below, and then the wording, the rest of the words go on the bottom. So yeah, I need to cut off all this extra fabric and get rid of that. I won't cut off the length that way yet until I know for sure where that drop is. But anyways, here and there, getting this done. There was another one that I have to cut off the extra fabric for. Oh, I forgot to bring that over. Hold, please. Unplanned new start. I couldn't resist. So I visited Wendy from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Lives about a mile from me. And she gifted me with what she has so far for the Quaker monthly series. They are so pretty. And I couldn't resist starting. Put those there so the threads don't fall all over the place. Again, on Mayflower, and I think I have enough of the Mayflower left to probably do the rest of the series, most, if not all of them. So this is like a half hour every day. I'm working on this. I am using not her called for, I am using still silks, but I decided these would be Mrs. Sadis silks. So the pinks, mostly Mrs. Sadis. I have number 5 and number 59 for the red and the pink, and then the green is actually almond M&M's dried rosemary. And it is a beautiful, beautiful green. So those are my 3 colors. So yeah, I started this a couple days ago. Half hour here, half hour there. May or may not get done by the end of February, but love it. So this is the one I need to cut. This is the left edge, right edge, left, right, I don't know. This is the edge, so I need to cut off this extra fabric. So, thank you, Wendy. When does spring get here? I'm very worried about spring. Seeing everybody else's daffodil and crocus pictures makes me jelly. All right, so almost last but not least, working steadily here and there on Home for Christmas. Did not get a finish as I had hoped last week because I ran out of crimson. This was the kit from Dying to Stitch, and while I wasn't part of the club, I did buy it from somebody on one of the stash unloading sites. But I ran out of the crimson in the kit. The crimson is a, I think it's a Weeks Dye Works color. So anyways, that came yesterday. So I am going to plug through on this weekend. It's only Tuesday, isn't it? I'm used to doing these on Friday. I'm going to plug through on this week. Hopefully get this done. All right. Then my other, hold on, I've got stuff going over every place. Stay. My other little bit here, little bit there, half hour here, half hour there. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. Is Jeanette Douglas's Winter by the Sea. And I think I had mentioned that in my last video that I was planning on working on, that I thought I could work on this every day, get one of these motifs done every day, and be done with this, you know, by the end of February. Well, best laid plans. I did not work on it every day. I worked on it most days. The border took longer than I expected, which is to be expected. So I do have the border. I just have to finish putting the accentuate in. More on that in a second. So then I've got started on one of the long motifs. So I am still working about a half hour every day. A little bit here, a little bit there, gets the job done. I'm hoping for a finish before the 1st of March, or not before the 1st of March, before the 21st of March, the first day of spring, so that I can start the spring season then. So, accentuate. That is this fiber that I have threaded in the needle here. It is a chronic type of fiber, but accentuate is by Rainbow Gallery. It is the same type of annoying metallic multi-ply fiber that is just difficult to work with. So I had somebody on Instagram saying, can't wait to see how you work with the Accentuate. So I decided to do a short video just showing you how I work with Accentuate. And it's the same for any fibers like this, to give you an idea how to approach it and to kind of take the fear away from it. So I'm going to insert that video here. Okay, so Accentuate is very much like Kreinik fine braid. I mean, they're both the same type of product in that they're a metallic, lots of sparklies, difficult to work with. I want to show you the ends here. I already have it threaded in my needle, but you can see there's a lot of plies in this fiber. I am using the length that has come in the kit. I threaded it very carefully in my needle, folded it in half because I am using the loop method to start. So I folded it in half, so it was, you know, tricky getting all of these plies through the needle. A needle threader is a good thing to have handy. You can see my threads are uneven here. And I did go ahead and what you're seeing here is put it in the first stitch, but I haven't gone through the loop yet. Let me get these threads a little more even. One thing I do when I'm working with this is I don't run the needle too far down onto the thread, so the end is here and the needle is right here. I don't move it down farther. I move it down far enough so that it won't slip out of the eye. The thread won't slip out of the eye of the needle easily, but not so far down that I have to move it a lot. The needle does have a tendency to wear on this type of fiber much more easily than on cotton, and so I keep it up towards the end. All right, so here is my loop. I do my normal loop on the top loop start. That's how I like to do the loop start. Now so I'm taking my needle through the loop. This is a little bit more tricky to do the loop start with. So what I do, my loop came up here. So basically I went down into the fabric here with my needle where the loop is. So, and I went all the way through so that the loop was hanging out. Came up with my needle here. So this is the first stitch. It's focusing on my finger and not where the stitch is. And then I've gone through the loop. So I'm pulling the loop tight right now. And what I then do is go back down through the hole where, I just had to make sure I was getting the right hole, where the loop was, where I'd come up with the loop or gone down through with the loop. This is a little trickier. Oh no, that one behaved perfectly. I was going to say this is a little trickier to get the loop to go back down to the underside, which is what happens when I go back down through that hole where the loop was. It pulls the loop down to the underside. And several times when I did it down here, it didn't behave very well, but that time it did, so yay. All right, so I do stitch two-handed. I do have a laying tool here. So what I wanted to show you is I totally, underneath the frame, I have a hold of the thread where it came down through that hole. And I keep a hold of that thread underneath just so I can be sure that it's not getting tangled up, because this, you know, this has a tendency to misbehave. Once it's on top then, and of course I'm going this way, so this is going to be a little bit trickier. I'm going to put my laying tool down here. I do use a laying tool on this just to keep it more behaved, just to kind of rein it in a bit. So the laying tool kind of catches it, and I pull the laying tool along with a thread, and there it goes. Underneath, so I lay down the laying tool. Underneath, I grab a hold of the thread where it's coming down from the hole that I just went down through, and I keep hold of it there, kind of spreading my fingers around the thread to kind of corral it a bit and keep it from tangling up on each other. Let's back up through, pick up the laying tool, and bring it back down. And none of this is a fast process. I take my time. One thing I want you to notice, and this is true actually no matter what type of stitch you're doing. And again, I have a hold of the thread right underneath here. My ring finger is actually around, the thread is coming up around both my ring finger and my index finger. So I make sure it's not getting snarled on each other. But one thing that I want you to be very aware of, and as I said, this is true no matter what kind of stitch you're doing, from cross stitch to any type of specialty stitch. I want you to look at the holes along here. You will see, for the most part, they are not pulled out of shape. I'm getting a little bit tighter down here. These holes are starting to dip a little bit. That is not what you want to see. You do not want to see any movement, any pulling out of shape of your linen when you're doing, like I said, cross stitch, satin stitch, any type of stitch. The only time you do want to see that is if you happen to be doing a pulled stitch where you, or an eyelet, where you want to open up the linen. Otherwise, it's just a nice, gentle, delicate touch. The thread goes through, but I'm not yanking on it. I try to never pull on my thread. If I am, it's probably because I am stressed or tense about something else, or in a hurry, and it comes out in my stitching. So that is basically all there is to it. It's not anything difficult. It's just a matter, I believe, when you're working with this kind of fiber, just taking it slow and easy. If you have a laying tool of some sort, that is awesome. I also have a trolley needle. I didn't happen to, let me go grab my trolley needle. This is a trolley needle. I've had this for years and years and years. Back when I did some needlepoint, counted canvas work, did a lot of specialty stitches for that, of course. I find this rather awkward to use, quite frankly. Let me get the thread underneath sorted, get a hold of it how I like to use it. If you have a knitting needle, double pointed needle, that kind of thing, just something small that you could use to just kind of hold the threads down. See, this is awkward at this angle. But really, you just want something that, and I don't think my threads are laying parallel. Trying to stay out of the camera view too. I lost one of the threads. But just something to kind of hold it down and keep it in place as you're manipulating the stitch. So, I hope you found that helpful. I hope you could see it all okay. I'm going to take the trolley needle off, go back to my laying tool. The laying tool is also used to kind of stroke along the fiber to get it to be laying evenly, so that when you do the stitch, it is laying parallel to each other. Again, I find that a little bit awkward to do with the trolley needle. So anyways, that, and see, that's, I don't know whether you can see that. All right, I think you can tell that these stitches down here are laying nice and evenly. I don't know whether you can see that there's one of the strands right here that just isn't. It's just puffed up a little bit. That was the one I did with the trolley needle. So I wasn't able to have as much control of it as I would like. So I'm actually just going to play with my needle a little bit. Try and keep the thread from tangling around the needle. For heaven's sakes, hold on. I know I'm off screen. I'm fighting with the fiber. All right. I basically, the stitch I did after that, I'm just pulling up on the individual strands. And that first one I pulled is the one that was loose, and that pulled it nice and tight. So now I'm going to pull these down a little bit to tighten these ones back up. All right, so there, that's better. Still not laying as nicely as I would like. Pulled the linen out. This is actually an even weave, but pulled it out of sync a little bit, but there you go. So that's how you do that. I hope that answered your questions. I hope you found that helpful. I don't know. I know there was one person on Instagram that did have a question. So, but I think we can all use a little brush up tutorial on how to handle these specialty fibers. You can see I quickly dropped my laying tool and got down to hold the threads on the bottom because they actually didn't come up. And okay, so I did not hold them. They came up through the hole unevenly. I can still feel a little nub underneath there, and you can see that they're not even. One came up differently. Okay, so that pulled that one, so now I have to straighten this out. So yeah, I quickly dropped my laying tool to get my hand underneath there to hold on to the fiber. Whoops, sorry about that. The fiber underneath so I could keep it more in check. Now there's still something going on underneath there. Hold please. We're gonna flip this baby over. Oops, there went my trolley tool. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get this maneuvered so you can see. All right, so here's my thread where the two strands where I just came down through. And here is a loop that got left behind on the last stitch because I wasn't holding it properly underneath. So there, I'm just going to pull that one through. Oops, my needle's still underneath. And then grab the needle and straighten those out. So yeah, it can be a little tricky, but like I said, as long as I'm holding on to it both underneath and manipulating it with the laying tool above, I don't usually have any problems. One more stitch in this little triangle. I have that down too far on the thread, the needle. I'm holding on to it in the bottom, pulling it up, get my laying tool that I tossed over there. And down I go. All right, so that is that. Again, let me know if you have any other questions, if there is anything that wasn't clear, and I will help you as much as I can. Okay, I hope you found that useful. As I said, let me know if you have any questions, or if I can clarify anything for you. I would be happy to. Okay, so next, knitting. Now I mentioned that I didn't do much knitting for the Knit-A-Thon. I did do a little bit, so I worked on a little bit on my poncho, my flutter poncho. It's really hard to see on the needles like this, all scrunched up. I think I have around 450 stitches so far. I'm only about halfway done, so this is probably going to be upwards of 600 or so stitches. I haven't looked to see, kind of scared too. But I do have a special segment. This is getting into haul a little bit. I do have something special I want to share with you. So I have these cables laying here. These are called, well, they're by the Knitting Barber, the original. This is from the shop by my friend, that my friend Kat, Kitty Bee Knitting, runs. She does have a shop where she sells her patterns. She also sells them on Ravelry. So whenever she comes across a cool tool that she wants to share with people that she thinks is special, she has those in her shop. I have been seeing these on different places for a while now, so went ahead and got some. For those of you that don't knit, this probably isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. For those of you, I want you to stick with me though, as I have something really cool to show you. For those of you that do, these are the cords that you can put on the tips of your needles to use for lifelines, to get your stitches on a spare cord. Whenever you have to put your stitches on a spare needle, this is what a good alternative for that. And it's a good alternative if you have a garment that you want to try on. Sleeves, if the sleeves are on, if you're actively knitting and the sleeves are on the knitting needle, you can't try it on because you're taking the chance of the sleeves or the stitches slipping off the needle, and nobody wants to deal with that. So this allows you to put the stitches on something long so that you can stretch those stitches out and try on a garment without having to worry about losing the stitches. This also allows someone like me working on someone like this to have more length to stretch the stitches out on, so I can really see what this thing looks like, and so I can show you. So these are silicone tubes. And this is one of those things that you think, why didn't somebody think of this earlier? So these just get slipped on. And when I say slipped on, I mean kind of twisted on so you know that it's not going to easily come off. So it goes on the end of the knitting needles. Now, I have not done this before, live on camera. And I'm really twisting it on so I don't have to worry about dropping stitches, because if I drop stitches on this, I think it would probably go into timeout for a while. All right, and then we are going to slip the stitches onto this cord. And I mean, that's not coming off those needle tips. Jan, don't worry, it's not coming off. So it is going to just take the stitches onto the cord, giving me extra room so I can really see what these colors are looking like, how it's all playing together. And there's not really any like rhyme or reason as to how many I'm putting on one side and how many I'm, on one, slipping off of one side and slipping off of the other. I'm just kind of getting them all spread out. I have a little bit left yet. Still have a scrunched up area over here. And it actually starts looking like the square it's supposed to look like. That's the beginning of the round there with all those markers. We still have some scrunched up area over here. Do we have any cord left? Not really. So there you go. There it is. So as a poncho, it will hang like this. You can see I have an awful lot more to go. Oh, that's kind of depressing. Actually, it goes fast. When I actually do work on it, it goes fairly quickly. So, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Boy, is that pretty. Yep, 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 yep. That is very cool. So that is my A Flutter poncho. I will not put all these back on the needles on camera. We're going to fold that up and tuck that in the bag. I believe I have a 47, I don't believe, I know, I have a 47-inch cable on my knitting needles. That makes from tip to tip the entire length 47. I do have cables that will make tip to tip 60 inches. And I think I'm going to need to change to that in the not too distant future. Because having too many stitches on a needle, even with a cable needle, a circular needle like that, it just makes it hard to work with so many stitches on the needle. So anyways, these cords come in different sizes. I do not know off the top of my head what sizes I am dealing with here, but you can see, I think this is the same as the one I put on the needles. This is a good twice as long. So lots of things to do with that. All right, I think we are now at haul and then giveaway, and then maybe a planning segment. Several of you have said, oh, I'd like to see more about that. So, but I'll put that at the end because I know that's not a whole bunch of you. Okay, so haul. I will start with Kitty Bee Knitting, since I have that out here. So, Kat has a daughter who is, I think maybe 10-ish. I've seen that little girl grow from when Kat brought her into the yarn store in a stroller to now being a young lady who, it's just amazing to see it's just amazing to see them grow. So my understanding is that her daughter Bee wanted to, Kitty Bee is where B comes from. It's not B-E-E, it's B-E-A. Wanted to do something creative to earn some money. And so she came up with the idea of making stitch markers for knitting. And so she's done some beading, some wire wrapping. She actually, again, if my understanding is correct, she actually came up with her own logo. How cool is that? So I will link below if anybody's interested in checking these out. I believe right now she is only doing stitch markers. But she may grow and develop new things, so I will link that below for anybody that wants to check them out. And this is just a little tin that I can store, take my stitch markers off the card and store them in here. So that is awesome. Wendy gifted me a set of her Quaker series. So we have January, I'm working on February, March, and April. She also gifted me the Black Sheep sampler because she had it hanging on the wall of her house, and it's small. It's much smaller than I imagined. 40 count, 5.35 by 6.9. It's small. And it's so cute. So I was oohing and awing over it as I was getting ready to leave the day I went over and visited her. And so she gave it to me. And it is a reproduction. So that is a gift from Wendy. She also gifted me a Theresa Kogut bag. She took 2 classes from Theresa at maybe the Quilter Station retreat. Wendy, I forget which retreat it was you were at, but she took 2 classes and Theresa gave bags to everybody in the class for both classes. So Wendy ended up with 2 bags. So she gave me one. And she gave me a set of the Quakers to give away to you. So more on that in a sec. All right. If you remember, I had a package in the last video from Laura Nelkin that said, do not open until unboxing night. Well, unboxing night was Friday, and so I opened it with the get-together on Zoom. So the new shawl, so this is for her End Club of 2022, the first pattern. And so this pattern is only available through the End Club. It will be available, I think, in a year on her on her Ravelry shop. So anyways, this is called a tween. And with it came these two gorgeous skeins of yarn to knit it with. Now this does have beads in the pattern. I got the no bead option because I have so many beads. I must have something that will work. I don't know when I'm going to start this. I would prefer to finish my poncho. I really, with the knitting, I'd like to get stuff done before I start new things, although I have several things calling to me. That's a different story. Like Hohi's new sweater. Oh, pretty. Also in the package was a little packet of soak, so whenever we are ready to wash and block that, I'll have what I need, and some more of those cords that I just showed you in pink and purple, and a little tin to store them in with Laura's End Club logo. I actually haven't looked to see what the lengths of these are, but these are pretty darn long ones too. So actually two shorter ones and a long one, just like in the blue ones that I got from Kat. So that was the End Club unboxing. And this yarn, it's a light fingering weight. It's just, look at the variegation on that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, just gorgeous. I actually don't have any cross-stitch fabric to show you this time. I don't have much cross-stitch at all. I have no patterns to show you, except for what Wendy gifted me. That's okay. I went kind of overboard. The next shipment in the Fat Quarter Shop Mini Pinny Club. So this is Winter Woods 1 and 2. So we have a little tree, a little bird, and a little snowman. So that is through a little pin club through Fat Quarter Shop. This is adorable. So Teal Elder is the one who gave me the elephant card that I talked to you about last time. She went to the store that she got it from to see if she could find another one, and they did not still carry them. But she did come across this. So how could she not help but get it for me, right? Yeah. So I have to find a little frame for this to put that up on my sheep wall, because that's just too cute. Thank you, Teal. Teal's a sweetie pie. All right. Another thank you card. This is from Cheryl March with an awesome sweet note in it. Another little thank you card for the holiday gift extravaganza giveaway that she won. All right, and the rest that I have to show you is planner stuff. Basically stickers and stuff. So I've discovered a website called Live Love Posh, and she has some gorgeous floral sticker books. There's like fur all over these. I had them sitting on the floor. Where do you think the fur could have come from? So I'm just going to page through real quick. Just so pretty. There's a quote in some of my sticker books from Happy Planner that says, when in doubt, put a flower on it. I just think that's a perfect idea for everything. When in doubt, put a flower on it. Some boxes to match the flowers. So yeah. And then this one, the black and white one, has some black and white flowers, but there's also a lot of just basics that come in handy when you're doing this kind of thing. I can't get it to turn, and there's something in here I really don't want you to miss. It's not back there though. So even though they're black and white, I thought this was really cool. And then there's this. These black lace pieces. Oh, so pretty. So yeah, and then just a bunch of numbers and other kind of to-do list stickers. I also am getting, I signed up for the subscription club from Sadie's Stickers. Did I open this? I think I opened it. I know I opened it. Oh, it doesn't have a closure. Signed up for 3 months of the subscription club just to see what that was like. So this is the January set. Just pretty, pretty things to decorate a planner with. I have cat fur hanging all over me. So yeah, and just another sticker set. I mean, I don't know whether you guys want to see all this. They're pretty. They speak to me. But anyway. And then something else that I'll show when I talk about the sticker segment, because I don't want to get, or the planner segment, because I don't want to get too far into that. So, because what we have to talk about still is giveaways. So we have the bobbin holder. So that is coming from Kim Stitch and Stuff in Canada. She's on Etsy. That is going to come from Kim, and that is going to Beverly Gardam, Gardam. So Beverly, I will be commenting on your comment so that you know who to get in touch with to get that. And then the Stitch and Stuff box. Still had to reach down there for that, so you'll remember that has my patterns and all the other yummy things in it. Now, I understand that this box sold out quickly. I don't know if that happens every month or whether it's just because I talked about it on here, but I have a feeling it happens every month. You can go to the Everything Cross Stitch website, and there's a place where you can put in your email if you want to be notified when the next one is available to purchase. They do come out once a quarter. This one, and I was informed that I had shown my address the last time. I probably just showed it again, but now I'm going to cover it up as if it makes a difference at this point. This one is going to Mary Cleveland. So Mary, I will be getting in touch with you to get your address. All right. This week's goodies. If I can find them now. All right. So this week we have the 4 Quakers that Wendy has out. Actually, she has a 5th one. She just is sending out, she just finished the May one, so she's just getting that ready to go out to shops now. So this giveaway is for the first 4, January, February, March, and April. I would like you to tell me which is your favorite of these that she has out so far. January Quaker, February Quaker, March Quaker, or April Quaker. Tell me which one you like the best, and make sure you use the word Quaker in your answer. So say, I like the March Quaker best. The other giveaway is 2 other ones. One of them is Flea Market Baskets by Lori Holt. It's So Emma from Fat Quarter Shop. And a piece of the fabric that Beth Liotta gifted me with. This is, and it doesn't mean that I know that this fabric will work for this pattern or that it's the right size for this pattern. I just put these together randomly. This is a piece of 32 count platinum Lugana, size 27 by 36, unless she's cut some from it. I don't know. But anyways, this is 32 count platinum Lugana. So for this one, I would like you to tell me how many baskets you have in your house. Use the word baskets, plural, in your reply. And last but not least, we have the Vintage Housewife and the needle minder that goes with it. Again, Lori Holt, It's So Emma, Fat Quarter Shop, etc., etc., etc. For this one, if you'd like to have this one, tell me, I need an apron. And I'll give you an apron. All right, guys. So I am going to say goodbye to now. I am going to say goodbye for now to those who are not interested in sticking around for my planner thing. I don't know that I have all that much to say about my planner, but I'll let you know what I'm doing in it and show you what I'm doing. So for those of you that are going to leave right now, we do have our angel card. This one says, when you love yourself, it's easy to love others. On the front it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Rather perfect for Valentine's Day, right? When you love yourself, it's easy to love others. I agree. The love flows. It starts here and it flows out. All right, guys, I love you. You know I do. I am so grateful to you for being here, visiting with me today, sharing the love and the laughter that I have. I will see you when I pop in and see you. Oh, and like I said, don't forget, if you're interested in, if you haven't taken advantage of the sale yet that I'm having, 15% off all of my patterns on my Etsy shop, be sure and pop over there and do so. The link is down below in the description box. The sewing box sampler is included in that sale as well. So it ends Friday midnight, my time. So take advantage of it while you can. I don't know when I'm going to have another one. All right, guys, I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. I'll say, I am by no means a pro at this. I'm kind of going with the flow, figuring it out as I go along, and not worrying about perfection, not thinking that there's a right way and a wrong way, getting stuff down on paper. So I do have a happy planner. And I have added some extra pages in. There was a extra packet you could get that had like projects, places to have keep track of any projects that you're working on. So this actually is working really well for me to keep track of my designs, get my ideas on paper so that they don't escape me. And then jot notes like what floss I want to use, what fabric I'm using, you know, just any ideas that might pop up. When I get an idea for a new pattern, I can turn the page and note it down, add more pages as I need to. So that's just like my work, you know, what I need. My new, take this out so you can see the spread. I have a bookmark in there. My spread for this week is this. Now, I put this together yesterday. I tried to do my planning sessions on Sunday, but I had new products coming yesterday that I wanted to try. I will talk about that in a second. This is last week's, and so what I have found over the past couple of weeks is that it is not good for me to write down the whole week's plans that I have, unless it's like an appointment that I know isn't going to change. I'm talking mostly about my stitchy plans, because on any given day, I might not get done what I hope to get done. I might need to work more. This is the previous week's. I might need to work more on a design that I need to get stitched in the evenings rather than, you know, patchwork. I might, like last night, I had hoped to work on both Do Re Mi and Home for Christmas, but I got a new end table. It was delivered yesterday, so I spent that time putting it together. So I only got some time in on Do Re Mi. So I'm finding that I'm either not having to scratch things out, having to move things to another day. It's just getting kind of messy. And so I decided that what I'm going to do from here on out is kind of to write, there's a sidebar here on these planners, to write in the sidebar what my things that I want to work on this week. And then, and like I said, this is mostly the stitchy things. If there's anything more appointment oriented, time oriented, things that I know I need to get done at a certain time, the Flosstube video I knew I wanted to do today, I will write that down. But other than that, I'm going to, like tonight, I don't know what I'm going to work on yet. So I'm going to, once I get all of this put away, once I get my my video uploaded and all that is done, which will take me probably till 3 or 4 o'clock, I won't have gotten any work stitching done today, so I'll probably work on my Live Like Spring tonight, because I want to get stuff done on that. So if I had written down like my hour projects, like Home for Christmas, I wouldn't have gotten to them. I'd have to scratch them out or move them to the next day. So basically, the second half of the week is blank. Wednesday is kind of blank. So I'm just kind of filling in as I go with my priorities for the week over here on the left-hand side. What I used for this layout, I'm kind of excited about. So I showed you some of the stickers I got, and I do like those sticker sets. They help me put the pages together quicker. But I went down a rabbit hole on scrapbook.com. And as you guys know, I used to be a scrapbooker. I was a paper scrapbooker before I was a digital scrapbooker. I was a digital scrapper for a longer amount of time than I was a paper scrapbooker. But I love all of this stuff. Actually, I think there was an ad on Facebook for rub-ons. And I have always loved rub-ons because they can provide some interesting background without adding a bunch of bulk. You can see I used a bunch of that sheet. So I went over to scrapbook.com to look at rub-ons and got those. Those are the ones that were on scrapbook.com. Got these because OMG blue. Pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. And again, some quotes that I may or may not use, who knows. And then this travel, and this set actually comes in a bunch of different colors, which I thought was cool. And then a travel set. And again, this would be like plain background, and I would add these on for decoration. Just, you know, just really something different and interesting. So what I ended up doing, and there's some more quotes, travel quotes, and then I got this pack of 6x8 paper, and I'm just going to try and, this is fairly thick. So this is like meant for journaling. It's double-sided. It's a fairly thick scrapbook paper. And then it came with these element sheets. These are die cut, laser cut actually. So what I did for this layout was took the 6x8 sheets, and it's a perfect fit for my pages. This is a Happy Planner Classic. And put the scrapbook paper down. So the scrapbook paper has the butterfly and the greenery on it. And then I added another rub-on butterfly here. Added these two rub-ons up here in the corners. Added just a little bit of the word kind of dictionary distressed background there. And then I went through my Happy Planner books and found quotes and boxes that coordinated and just added those in. And I have room to write on the paper itself, which I can because it's not too busy. I liked doing this. It takes away from the calendar feel. My planner it's a vertical one, so it has the lines down, and you can see I don't stay in the lines anyways when I'm putting all my little bits and pieces on. But this kind of just blocked that all out. and allowed me to put things wherever while still keeping the days of the week in order up above. So I hope you found that interesting, useful, if you stuck around to see that at all. I'm having a ball with this. Part of the charm is that I can decorate it. I think that's part of the attraction and what keeps me coming back. As I was working on this yesterday, Mike came into, I was at my desk in my workroom. Mike came in there and saw this stuff spread around me and said, "Is this all for your planner?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Oh my." I was like, "You just need to back out of the room slowly." Anyways, it's keeping me on track. It's helping me to be more productive. And I'm just thrilled with the whole creativity side of it. So it's all a win. And that, my dears, is a wrap. I will see you next time. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.